إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهدي الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها كل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. All praise be to Allah, the King of the world, the Master of the Day of Judgment. I bear witness no one is worthy of worship but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the last and greatest messenger, was sent to mankind to bring them out of the darkness of this world to the light of this world and the hereafter, and from the injustices of religions to the justice of Islam, the only religion in the sight of Allah. Inna ad-deena 'inda Allahi al-Islam. And we continue with this series of lectures, and we proceed ma'ulu al-himma, and building determinations. And I saw it will be a good thing to talk about tonight, the issue of seeking knowledge and the importance of learning and the importance of striving and struggling for learning the authentic knowledge that the messenger of Allah Muhammad, peace be upon him, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, has come to us with, the knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had revealed to his messenger. And this knowledge is very important, and with this knowledge is how you know how to live your life. Without it, you are like very much most people out there who live their life and they die and they don't even know the purpose that they existed. And this is like living blind. You don't know where to go and where you came from. And that is the importance. It's the light that shows you the path, because you have to go through darknesses and you have to cross very severe and very hardships. Without this light, through the knowledge of Allah, you can never be able to come out, and you can never be able to cross it. So it's very important we understand the importance of knowledge and why it's important and why it's significant. And we hear Ali ibn Abi Talib, Amir al-Mu'mineen radiyallahu anhu, يقول لكميل بن زياد: احفظ ما أقول لك، الناس ثلاثة، فعالم رباني، ومتعلم على سبيل النجاة، وهمج رعاء أتباع كل ناعق، يميلون مع كل ريح، لم يستضيئوا بنور العلم، ولم يلجأوا إلى ركن وثيق. Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu anhu said to one of his students and his companions, he said, I'm going to tell you things and you pay attention to them. When once Ali ibn Abi Talib says, I'm going to tell you things, that means you have to open your eyes and your heart and your ears, because what comes out of the mouth of Ali ibn Abi Talib, jawahir, treasures. So you better be ready to jump on it and keep it and grab to it. So he said, I will teach you words. الناس ثلاثة. People are three types. All people, you can categorize them into three groups. فعالم رباني. One of them is a godly scholar, is a godly man. He strived and he spent a lot of his time learning the deen of Allah to the level where he became a scholar. He has the knowledge of Allah the way the messenger brought it, and he has the understanding that Allah has blessed him with. And this person is a person that you should try to find, and is a person that you look for, because he will help you, and maybe if you can become like him, you will learn from what he has. فَعَالِمٌ رَبَّانِي. So that is the first type of people, and how few are there today? And those people are very few, and they are like a precious stone you hardly can find. So it's very important that once you find one of them, to cling and to hold to them as much as you can. وَمُتَعَلِّمٌ عَلَى سَبِيلِ النَّجَاةِ. And the second type is a student who's trying to learn his deen and his religion so he can save himself. A student who tried to learn and who tried to take from this scholar and who search for the knowledge of Allah so he can save himself from the hell fire, and he can save himself from the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is the second category, and even those are few. Even those are few. Those who think and believe that safety and salvation will only come through the recommendation of Allah and the recommendation of the messengers are very few. Because people today have attached themselves to many other things, and they have attached themselves to the material world. So to have and to be able to convince them of this concept that success and the measures of success doesn't mean how much money you have, the measure of success doesn't mean what car you drive, the measures of success doesn't mean what house or where your house is. It's very difficult these days, because the people have shifted and they have gone from this way, understanding that their salvation is through the Creator, to the creation. Some people, they think their salvation is how many people with big names they know. And some people think the salvation is how much I have in my bank. And all these things are minute, and those things are unimportant that we need to understand. So this is the second category. ومتعلم على سبيل النجاة وهمج رعاع أتباع كل ناعق يميلون مع كل ريح. And the rest of people, which is the majority. يعني إلا من رحم الله, the majority of people همج رعاع, يعني they live their life, they don't even know why they're here. Most people are like that. يعني you look at most people, you find his life and the routine is exactly the same for the last 20 or 30 years. The same thing. He'll wake up in the morning, go to work, come to sleep. Wake up the next day, go to work, come to sleep. He thinks that he's created to work. And some people think they are created to collect money. And some people think they're created to be lazy. And some people, they think they're created to sit in front of a TV 24/7 and find someone to spin on them. Some people like that. And the majority of people like that, they fall into the category that he's not so concerned about what brings him happiness. In the sense, the right happiness. Because a lot of people think happiness and sa'ada and success is through certain things. But unnecessarily it's true. Because if you look from the experience, you find those who got a lot of money, for example, and I mention money a lot because it's one of the major, if not the most, or the number one thing that people think you can get happiness through, and that is the reality. You find a lot of people so happy or so rich, but they're not happy in their life. You find people so famous, and every now and then we hear that they got overdosed with drugs and they died in their rooms. Why? If they were happy, why would they do that? Obviously, it disproves the fact that money or fame brings happiness. And you see, usually the people who commit suicide are not the poor people. Usually the rich people, the people who got everything and now they don't know where to go next, because they are always searching for happiness, but it's not giving it to them. So very important that we look into that. So most people are stuck in that category, and they're stuck at that step, and that is همج رعاع. يعني they don't know which direction to take, they don't know which orders to follow, they don't know which path to proceed with. They just do what they see people doing, they do. يميلون مع كل ريح. يعني wherever the wind blows, they're inclined. It's like, you know, like a branch of a tree or a leaf on a tree. Wherever the wind blows, if it blows east, the leaf will blow east. If it blows west, the leaf will go west. And these are these people, and this is the majority of people. So if they are growing up in a society that commits something that is forbidden by every prophet, and forbidden by Allah, and forbidden by ethics, but because they are grown in that society who accepted such behavior, they adopt it as well. And they will not stand up and to stop or to try to condemn such behavior. That's it. Everyone is doing it. What's the big deal? I'll do it too. Even though they might know it's harmful to them. And that is what Islam came to forbid. And that's what the Prophet ﷺ came to call for: individuality, and to have a will, and to have a choice of your own, and to be strong, and to know what's right and what's wrong, and to decide for yourself. Just the fact that everyone is doing something, and you know deep in your heart that it's wrong, does not give you the justification to do it and to follow it. And as one of the scholars, one of those people in the first category said, he said, he said, if I'm on the truth and all the world on the other side, then that will not shake my, or will not put doubt in my truth. And very important, this is very important statement. That is, it doesn't matter how many people are doing certain things and you believe it's wrong and ethically is wrong. That doesn't justify that, well, it's okay to do it, or it's okay, I'll do it as well. What's the big deal? You, the man of principles, stands up for his principles and stand firm and doesn't change and doesn't shake. Then he said, لم يستضيئوا بنور العلم ولم يلجأوا إلى ركن وثيق. يعني this big group of people, they're living their life without seeking guidance, without trying to learn, without seeking the light of knowledge. So what kind of life they're going to have? And they don't even try, they don't even make the smallest efforts to try to learn. So those people definitely are the majority, and those people are the ones that are condemned. وَالْعِلْمُ, then he continues رضي الله عنه, وَالْعِلْمُ خَيْرٌ مِنَ الْمَالِ, and knowledge is better than money. Knowledge is better than money. Yani to know your Lord and to know what will save you is better than any money. Then he gives you رضي الله عنه some of the facts about knowledge and money that proves his point. فيقول العلم يحرسك وأنت تحرس المال. يعني the first thing that will prove his statement, and the first thing that will make it clear that ilm, or why knowledge is better than ilm, better than money, he said knowledge protects you. Knowledge protects you, but you are the one who's supposed to protect the money. Knowledge protects you, but you spend your whole life, you see, once you learn, you are preparing yourself and you are protecting yourself from the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You protect yourself to fall in what Allah made forbidden. You protect yourself with knowledge to do what Allah made haram, yani to do things that are not accepted by God. So that is why knowledge protects you. So that means knowledge is doing you a favor. But when it comes to the money, you have to protect it. That's why when one of us has some money, he can't always worried where he gonna hide it. Under the pillow, under the balata, the bank, the mattress, the dirt, whatever it is. So always you are in worries where, how to protect and how to cover this money and keep it. Then he says, وَالْعِلْمُ يَسْكُو عَلَى الْعَمَلِ. الْعِلْمُ يَسْكُو عَلى الْعَمَلِ, يعني knowledge gives you the assistant to do actions. Knowledge helps you to do better, more actions that bring you closer to Allah, draw you closer with Allah, with your Creator, with the one who created you, draw you closer so you can fulfill your purpose in this world. وَالْمَالُ تُنْقِصُهُ النَّفَقَ, and money usually decreases if you want to spend it and do something with it. It always decreases. وَمَحَبَّةُ الْعَالِمِ دين يدان به باكتساب الطاعة في حياته وجميل الأحدوثة بعد موته وفنائه. And knowledge, and the person who has knowledge, it's like this knowledge puts him in a debt. Puts him in a debt. What this debt is when he learns, he feels compelled to act. So once he has this knowledge, then it encourages him and pushes him to act, to do the right things, to benefit himself and to benefit people around him, to benefit his family and his society. So once he has this knowledge, it pushes him. It's like a reaction, pushes him to do good. Because there is no point of having knowledge and not acting. There is no point of having knowledge and not acting in accordance to this knowledge. So one of the favors that this knowledge will do is once you attain it, it will push you and give you a force to act and to do things that will please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's in his life. So he's always trying to act and to please Allah. Based on his knowledge, he's acting. He learned that if I do this, I will be rewarded this. So he jumps and he rushes to do it. That's in his life. Okay? And after his death, وَجَمِيلُ الْأُحْدُوثَ بَعْدَ مَوْتِهِ وَفَنَائِهِ. And after his death, this knowledge will keep him remembered. People will remember him. they will say, so and so who guided us, who taught us, who showed us the way, or if he wrote a book he left behind that people benefit from, or he left a lecture that people listen to and benefit, people remember him like that. So even after his death, he's remembered. And if you look in the history, you will find that famous names for 100 or 200 or 300 or 400 or 1,000 or 2,000 years, people still know about today. But most of these people are not known today or remembered because they were rich. And if I ask you, tell me one person that you remember from 200 years ago or further, because he was rich. People know him because he's rich. You might think for hours before you come up with a name. But if I tell you, give me a name of a person who's still remembered from 300 years, and he lived 300 years ago or older, because of knowledge that he contributed. You can bring me hundreds of names, whether it's Islamic knowledge or non-Islamic. We're just giving the basic here. The fundamental is people after their death are remembered for what they had contributed, what they had done, how they benefited people. And yes, there are people remembered because they were evil. But if you compare, most people who are remembered because they contributed, they did good. Alright? Supposedly based on that, on the mind. But the issue is how many people remembered for their money. So the benefit of the knowledge gives you a second life. And knowledge after your death, you still remembered. You still, when people remember you, they may ask Allah to forgive you, or they may ask Allah or make an invocation for you, for Allah to give you to shower you with His mercy. So it's a second life, as if you are alive and you're acting and you're building more good deeds and you're building your connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. All this benefit of knowledge that doesn't come from money. وصنيعة المال تزول بزوال صاحبه مات خزان الأموال وهم أحياء والعلماء باقون ما بقي الدهر. And making money and earning money disappears once the person who's doing it disappears. يعني, in other words, a person who has money, and you will find those الهمج يعني, around him, people who, when they see the green sign or the dollar sign, they jump on you and they become your buddies and they become your friends. And this is the reality that we live, and this is how a lot of people. And suddenly, once you don't have money anymore, you start looking for them as if they went down the drain. Where are they? Those who were telling you how much they love you and how much you're dear to them and how great you are and you are the greatest man they've ever met. Once you don't have that money anymore, you look for them, you never find them. وعند الفلوس تعلم الرجال من التيوس. So the fact is, and the reality is, money and the honor and the benefit that money brings to the person who has it disappears once the money disappears. Once the money is gone, all that fame and respect and power is gone. Alright? But knowledge, who can take it away from you? And knowledge stays with you even if you disappear. Knowledge is still there to testify for you even if you yourself disappear and dies. يقول علي رضي الله عنه مات خزان الأموال وهم أحياء. The people who treasure the money and who save money and who keeps money and all that, they died while they're still alive. That's another issue. That how many people, because of money, they start drifting away from their purpose in life. Okay? Because they are busy making it, and they are busy maintaining it, and they're busy growing it, and they're busy competing. And you find him stressed out when he finds someone who's making more money than him, or someone who has more money than him. And when his money goes down a little bit, or his bank account, he freaks out and he starts getting worried and starts sweating. So his life is like that. Why? Because, by no means I'm trying to say live poor or be poor and always try to be poor. And when money comes to you, you reject it. That's not what I'm saying. نعم المال الصالح للعبد الصالح. Actually, it's better to be rich, but with knowledge, so you know how to spend it. Better than being poor and wish. If you have it, you'll spend it. And we talked about this hadith as the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam قال نعم المال الصالح للعبد الصالح. But in the other hadith, إنما الدنيا لأربعة نفر. إنما الدنيا, he said sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Prophet, peace be upon him, that this dunya and this world for four kinds of people. And the very first one he started with, and the most important and the most righteous and the most credited with Allah and with his Lord, is a man whom Allah gave him knowledge and wealth. Now this is the key. The Prophet started with knowledge. He didn't say wealth and knowledge. He said knowledge and wealth. So due to this knowledge he has, he knows how to spend this money. Because some people have a lot of money, they don't spend it, or if they spend it in the wrong avenue and in the wrong ways that will not please Allah. Yani, when you have all this money and the very first thing is you want to spend it opening a liquor store, and that is haram in our religion, then what benefit had it brought to you? It's actually brought misery, for example. So the point is, knowledge and money is the greatest thing, because you have to have that knowledge to know how to spend that money. So you please Allah when you spend it. You take care of your kins, you take care, and you spend it in the way it's supposed to. So very important. I'm not discouraging those who try to make money, as long as they're doing it in a halal fashion and in the permissible way that pleases Allah, and they spend it in that way as well. Because the Prophet ﷺ also mentioned that no one will move on the day of judgment to heaven or to hell before he is asked about his money. He will be asked about every penny, how he earned it and how he spent. That's why the rich people are the last to enter paradise. The poor people, there is nothing to be asked about when it comes to this issue. So they're asked about their actions and Allah will decide. But with the rich, they will be asked about every penny they earn and they spend, how they spend it, how they earned it. So very important. But if they know how to earn it in this dunya and they know how to spend it, then it's a great deal and actually brings them closer to Allah. وَاتَّقُوا النَّارَ وَلَوْ بِشِقِّ تَمْرَةٍ مَاتَ خُزَّانُ الْأَمْوَالِ وَهُمْ أَحْيَاءٌ. That's why a lot of people who have money, but actually they are dead. Yes, they are living with us, they move with us, they are around us, we communicate with them, they communicate with us, but the fact is their hearts are dead. Because all he can think about, money. All he can think about, material. All he can think about is this specific thing. But there is no time for his Lord. There is no time to fulfill his purpose in this world, and that is to please Allah. So you want to tell me this person is alive? Alive with his body, the physical, but the spirit is dead long time ago. So very important for those who are into the money and making money, and not to fall into this. Not to fall into this mode where you everything on your mind. And I talk to a lot of people who approach me, and they have a lot of money, but they don't sleep. And they can't sleep at night. Always worried, always thinking. Just the same thing applies to those who have authority. People who have positions and who have big status and very high positions in a society, leaders and all that, they can't sleep as well. And some of the leaders in the world, that they will wake him up, his guards will wake him up 2 in the morning, and they have to fly him away because there is a threat, someone trying to kill him. Just like that. And this is constant. I mean, when you live like that, you're always looking behind you and over your shoulder and afraid. What kind of life is that? Okay? So very important to please Allah and to earn and to spend in what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَالْعُلَمَاءُ بَاقُونَ مَا بَقِيَ الدَّهْرِ أَعْيَانُهُمْ مَفْقُودَةً وَأَمْثَالُهُمْ فِي الْقُلُوبِ مَوْجُودَةً. And the scholars, and the people of knowledge, and the godly people, and those who fear Allah, and those who live their life in accordance with the rules and the orders of Allah and His Messenger, those, when they disappear, they are missing. They're missed. People miss them. and people always looking for people like them. So what a greater than that. Yani all the money in the world is not any better and does not give you the feeling and the satisfaction of someone picking up the phone and calling you to tell you how much he loves you for the sake of Allah. Wallah. And how much he loves you because of who you are. And how much he wished that he is with you in paradise. And how much he asked Allah for this love to be the reason for Allah to put you in paradise together. Don't tell me money. The feeling that this thing brings, and these feelings, and what this religion brings to the hearts of people who really follow it, and who really believe in it, and who really adopt it, and make it a significant and important part of their life, it's not weighed by any amount of money or any treasure. And I hope that all of you are experiencing this. يقول ابن الجوزي رحمه الله: تأملت عجبا وهو أن كل شيء نفيس خطير يطول طريقه ويكثر التعب في تحصيله. يعني أن الراحة لا تنال بالراحة. He's saying, Ibn al-Jawzi rahimahullah, you want to seek knowledge and you want to learn, don't expect it to come to you. And don't expect the road to be easy and paved. And don't expect that seeking knowledge and learning comes like that while you're sitting on your couch and you have your legs crossed and waiting for it to come and sink in your head. Knowledge doesn't come like that. You have to strive, and you have to struggle, and you have to lose sleep, and you have to be ambitious, and you might have to spend your money and spend your health and get sick for the sake of learning. And most of us don't have to do that. Yani the scholars from before, for 1300 years ago and 1400 years ago and 1200 and 1000 years ago, they did not have what we have today. Today with one press of on the computer, yani on the keyboard, you can get all the tradition of the Prophet ﷺ. You can have the Mus'haf right in front of you. You can have whatever you want. The books. Yani I have one CD that has 1300 books on it. 1300 books. Imagine how big that is. And imagine how much effort it took for those people to write it. Yani the people who wrote these books, imagine. And imagine how much they had to travel. Walking. Yani most of these people are walking. They didn't have planes and airports and cars and all. Walking, or on a back of a camel or a donkey. So very important that you get, we are in a blessing. Today we are in blessing. So the point is, even yet with all that, we still, a lot of us are lazy to learn. And a lot of us are lazy to make the best effort, or the least effort I should say, to gain some of the knowledge that might be protection for them from the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So why the problem is like that, and why we have to experience that, and why we have to deal with that? The issue again is, we are attached to the insignificant. And we are so attached and so busy with the dunya and with the material, because everything around us has hinted to us and has implied to us that this is what you should live for. And that is wrong. And the only people who can know and who will know and will be sure that this is wrong are people who have knowledge. Other than that, you will not. Yani I'll never forget this incident where in the school I went to, and very much one of the top 10 students in the class. And they had this tradition or whatever, where every time they have the list of the students, the class, it's 100 people, and they are together for 4 years, yani. And so everyone knows everyone else, but they had a list of the birth dates. So every day that someone's birthday, they'll email the whole class that so-and-so birthday, we wish him happy birthday. So when it was mine, and they sent that email, I replied with the intention to make a point, yani to teach the people something. This is how the da'wah works. Sometimes you have to take every opportunity and every chance. Inshallah, the brother, maybe one of you give him he can lean against the wall. It looks like he's not used to sit on the floor. So you sit here, huh? So I replied and I said, I didn't know that you guys didn't like me that much. You wish me happy birthday and I'm only 1 year, or I'm 1 year closer to die. Got it? I just want some minds to think. And you never know. And you throw it in, and you never know who's gonna catch it and it's gonna affect him. In my life in that school, I did not see that it affected anyone, yani. But Allahu A'lam, one word can change, and we talked about how one word changed Imam Shafi'i. So the next day, I'm standing with this kid who's in my class, and one of the top 10 students in the class, yeah. Very intelligent when it comes to books. So he asked me about it. I said, you guys, I said, we don't celebrate birthdays. But you guys, the way you celebrate birthdays is you go and you throw parties and you get together and you get drunk and whatever you do, and all these things are wrong. Yani, don't tell me it's okay in their societies, but when it comes to their religion, if we want to be honest, Christianity, Judaism, it's forbidden to drink alcohol, whatever they want to say. Originally, it's forbidden. Anything that intoxicates this mind that God had blessed you with, did not give to animals, should be forbidden, and obviously it is. Anything that takes you away from your Lord is forbidden. So I said, that's what you guys do. What we do is we are thankful. We are thankful that God gave us an opportunity to live a year. Or I did not say, I said, we are thankful to the one who gave us that opportunity to live this year. Not by disobeying him. But this by disobeying him, just telling him. So he said, of course, you have to be thankful to your mom. I said, the one who gave the mom the opportunity to live. He said, your grandmother? Wallah. Yani this happened. That's the point. The point is, yani, as much as those people are away from God, but their minds are numb. That's how they're made. That's what everything around them is made. Yani, you look, for example, you take the sports. Yani, in this country, you look at sports, one season ends, one game ends, or one sport, right away the next sport starts. So people always mesmerized in front of these TVs, always talking about these things, always this, taking their minds away from why they're here. And Islam came to eliminate all that and to stop all that. You have a purpose in life. That's where you need to be focused. Anything that takes you away from it, yani, things that are permissible become forbidden if they are taking you away from your obligations. Yani, for example, if someone is so addicted to watching games, no one says, for example, watching a game, soccer game or a football game is a sin. But if watching this game is gonna make you neglect your family, neglect your work, neglect your obligations, as Muslims, neglect your prayers. So watching this game, obviously and without any doubt, becomes forbidden and becomes a sin. Because you had given preference for something that is a luxury over something that is an obligatory. And when it happens like that, it becomes forbidden. So that's where Islam came to regulate all that. Yani sa'a wa sa'a, true. But that hour for yourself to relax and all that has also to be not in a way that you're disobeying your Lord. Yani, it doesn't make sense for you to pray 1 hour and go get drunk the other hour and say sa'a wa sa'a ya handala, yani. Alright? But the point is, the hour you need to relax And we're not saying you have to stay in the mosque for every day 24 hours or pray 24 hours, but the point is, and some people do that, the point is that hour you choose for yourself and to relax and whatever has to be in accordance with what pleases Allah. Because you don't want to build for 1 hour and then destroy the next hour. What's the point? And most probably what you build in 1 hour is very little compared to what you can destroy in 1 hour. And how long it takes to build 10 stories building, how much it takes to demolish it, or how long? 3 seconds. Alright? So very important, we like that. So يعني أن الراحة لا تنال بالراحة وإنما الراحة تنال على جسر من التعب فكلما ازداد خطر الشيء وقيمته ووزنه كلما صعب الحصول عليه وتناوله. He's telling you about this knowledge, that it's a very precious thing. Ibn al-Jawzi rahimahullah says this knowledge is a very precious thing. And usually to be able to earn something precious and to have possession of something precious, you have to struggle. And you have to strive, and it's going to be exhausting, and it's going to be taxing, and you have to make the best of your effort and put in the best of your energy if you want something precious. But if you want something fake, if you want to buy a piece of jewelry that is fake, how much effort does that take? $10, $9.99, whatever it is. But if you want something real and precious, you have to work to earn that money to be able to buy it. So even with that small thing that is insignificant should be, you still have to make an effort. So imagine if the thing that you're trying to earn is your ticket to paradise and your passport to paradise. You know there's passport to paradise. There's a passport, and the Prophet ﷺ said that. When you come to heaven, when you come to the door and the gate of heavens, you have to show that passport. It's a passport that has the permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, telling the angels and the gatekeepers of paradise to allow you in. Imagine if this is what you're trying to earn. And look how much effort and energy and money and sweat and sleepless nights you're willing to put to get an American passport. So what's about passport to paradise? Alright? So very significant. So this goal and the goal of knowledge, that is what will give you that direct way to paradise, is very precious. So to earn it, to gain it, to learn it will take a lot of effort and a lot of sacrifice and a lot of compromises and a lot of neglecting things that dear to you. But because knowledge is the dearest, and what connects you with Allah is over all of that. يقول فإن العلم لما كان أشرف الأشياء لم يحصل إلا بالتعب والسهر والتكرار وهجر اللذات والراحة ولا شك في أن العلم أشرف ما يحصل عليه الإنسان وأشرف مأرب يتطلع إلى تحصيله ومن ثم فلا يمكن أن ينال إلا بأشد التعب والجهد والسهر والتكرار حتى قال بعض الفقهاء بقيت سنين أشتهي الهريسة لا أقدر. Now here we're going to have a battle between Palestinians and Egyptians and Tunisians when it comes to al-harisa, because Palestinians and Egyptians and Sudanese, harisa means something to them and Tunisians mean something else. For Palestinians and Egyptians and Sudanese, harisa is the sweet, right? I'm getting there. Harisa is the, right? You guys have harisa? ولا أنت في السودان ما بتعرف؟ إن الله يعينكم على الجنوب يعني. Harisa for Palestinians and Egyptians is sweet, some kind of sweet, right? For the Tunisians, harissa is shatta. Shatta is the red pepper. When it's smashed, that is harissa. Yani, when a Tunisian brother in Philadelphia invited me for some harissa in the morning, I said, bring it on. And then I said, don't bring it on after that. And he invited. I come from a place where harissa is sweets. So he said, come eat sweet harissa with us. So I go and he gives me hot red pepper. I said, what kind of deal is that? Next time you tell me in English. The point is, in this one goes with the Tunisians. So بعض الفقهاء, some of the scholars used to say, كنت أشتهي الهريسة أو اشتهيت الهريسة سنين فلم أقدر. يعني he wished to eat this harissa full of red peppers and spices and all that. He said, I wished to eat it for years, but I couldn't. You know why he couldn't? Because the time they used to sell it was the time of the lecture that he used to go to. Was the time of the circle of knowledge. So if he wanted to eat it, he has to compromise the seeking knowledge. So for years he wished to eat it, but he couldn't because he was busy with seeking knowledge. And we give some of those examples, inshallah, to see where we stand. Because it's very sad when we see that. قول ابن القيم وأما سعادته فلا يورثك إياها إلا بذل الوسع وصدق الطلب وصحة النية وقد أحسن القائل في ذلك فقل لمرجي معالي الأمور بغير اجتهاد رجوت المحالة. He said, as the point Ibn al-Jawzi made, to seek this knowledge and to gain the fruit of it, you have to struggle and you have to lose and to have many sleepless nights, and you have to sweat for it. And then he mentioned a line of poetry. He said, tell the person who's trying to seek the highest level without any effort, you are seeking something impossible. And whoever wants to strive, وَمَنْ طَلَبَ الْعُلَى سَهِرَ اللَّيَالِ, whoever tries to strive for something great, who wants to make something great of his life or in his life, he cannot just sleep every night just like everyone else. He cannot make the least effort like everyone else. You have to be special. You want something special, you got to be special yourself. So it really takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort. فيقول ابن القيم فما دام طلبك نفيسا فلا بد أن تبذل ثمنا نفيسا. As long as what you're seeking is something precious, you have to pay for it with something precious. That is your time, that is your rest, that is your comfort, that is your satisfaction, that is your desires. ومن أحب أن يخطب الحسناء فلا بد من أن يدفع المهر. And whoever wants to propose and marry the beautiful woman, he needs to be prepared to pay the dowry. And the dowry of al-hur al-'ain is very expensive. فالحور لا تخطب بالنوم ولا بالكسل ولا بالتراخي وإنما تخطب بمهر هو الكد والجد والتعب والسهر. فالحور are not married by being lazy and sleeping and not making any effort, but their dowry is making effort, getting tired, getting exhausted, and losing sleep. Of course, you do all that not in front of a TV. You do all that not playing games. You lose sleep and you get tired not because you're chatting on the computer. And don't come to me and say, I did not sleep last night after what I heard. What did you do? How many rak'ah, how many juzo you finished? La, I was chatting. Or I was watching games or a movie. That's not what we're talking about. Losing energy and effort and comfort, putting energy in what pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يقول الشاعر لولا المشقة ساد الناس كلهم الجود يفقر والإقدام قتال. He said if it wasn't for the effort, then everyone will be rich. Everyone wants to be rich, right? But if it wasn't, who gonna put the effort and who gonna have the energy and who gonna strive to be rich? then everyone will be rich. But this is what distinguishes. A lot of people want to be rich, and they live, and they die, and they never had a penny to their name. But he wanted to be rich. And some people want to be rich, and they have a plan, and they know what to do. And of course, when we say rich here, we don't necessarily mean rich with money. Our main thing is rich with your connection with Allah, is rich with your rapport with Allah, is rich with your relationship with your Lord. So whoever wants to be rich in that category, got to be making the best effort and putting the best energy and losing comfort and sleep. الجود يفقر والإقدام قتال. ومن طمحت همته إلى الأمور العالية فواجب عليه أن يشد على محبة الطرق الدينية وهي السعادة. So, happiness, power, success in this world, whoever wants it, it's only achieved through the way of Allah. All I've been telling you is to prove this point. It's not the worldly things. Allah created us, sent us the messengers, revealed to them His words, the Quran we have today, for your happiness. So He created you and He knows how you function. He created us and He knows what's best for us. And He told us in the Quran. So we want to live the life of happiness and the life of success. We are mandated and obligated and supposed to follow what's in this book. That is the manual. يعني you don't buy a machine, يعني you don't buy a microwave made by JVC, whatever they make microwaves, GE. You don't buy a microwave from GE and go get a manual from Sony or whoever else make microwave. This doesn't make sense yet. So you want happiness, get the manual that the one who manufactured you enclosed with you. خلاص. قضي الأمر الذي فيه تستفتي. That's it. Always papers. Never get anything else. يعني plate of harisa ولا شيء. Alright? So the way of success and happiness is only through the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ويقول الله سبحانه وتعالى قل بفضل الله وبرحمته فبذلك فليفرحوا هو خير مما يجمعون. Allah says, let them be happy with the blessings of Allah and His mercy. The blessings of Allah. If you see the blessings of Allah in your life, that should make you happy. When you feel that Allah is showering you with His mercy by giving you success in this world, by making you happy, giving you good offsprings, your family is good, you're healthy, your parents are healthy, your kids are healthy, that's mercy from Allah and blessings. You should be happy. هو خير مما. It's better. Allah says it's better. Surah Yunus. It's better than what they collect. Why Allah says better than? Why Allah chose from what they collect? Why Allah did not say it's better than what they build? Why He did not say it's better than what they ride? It's better than what they collect. Why? Because Allah knows most people, if not all people, who are away from Him think their happiness is based on how much they have. That's why He said it's the blessing and the fadl and the rahmah and the mercy of Allah what should bring happiness, not what you collect, not what you have to your name. Alright? يقول ابن القيم وإنها متى أكرهت النفس عليها وسيقت طائعة وكارهة إليها وصبرت على لأوائها وشدتها أفضت منها إلى رياض مونقة ومقاعد صدق ومقام كريم. ومقاعد صدق ومقام كريم. So once that you can have victory, يعني once you cross that line where you can make the effort, and you succeeded by neglecting your desires, and you succeeded by going through the night with less sleep so you can dedicate more time for God and seeking that knowledge we're talking about. Once you succeed to make this knowledge as your priority, it's going to take a lot of effort, as I said, and a lot of sweat and a lot of struggle. Once you go, it's like anything in the world. First you start struggling until you reach the top. That is the hardest point, to get to the top. And then after that everything becomes smooth. So you struggle with building this kind of mentality that is learning and connecting with God and building your relationship with Him, and it takes a lot of effort and a lot of striving and struggling and suffering. Then after that you enjoy it. After that it becomes happiness. After that it becomes sweet. After that you know that you're building, now you're polishing. You've been building, you know the building takes a lot of energy. Polishing is the final steps and the final touches. You start polishing and preparing your spot in paradise. You start thinking with that mentality. That's one of them said, one of the ulama, he said, تعبت في الصلاة 20 سنة واستمتعت بها 20. He said, it took me so much effort for 20 years praying, so much effort, and so much pushing, and so much striving, and so much struggling, trying to perfect his prayer, because prayer is connection with his Lord. After he passed that stage, 20 years, yani, he said, I enjoyed it for the next 20 years. You may, even you look in the world, you in the beginning, if you start a business, you struggle, and sometimes some days will come you're not making a penny, some days will come you're losing money, some days will come you're putting too much out, too much struggle, and nothing is coming back. And that may take a year or 2 years. After that, once you start seeing the money coming in and the results and the fruit of your efforts, you start enjoying it, huh? This is awla. This is more important. This is more serious. You struggle to get to that stage where you're happy and you're satisfied. So that's what we're trying to learn. يقول تجد كل لذة دونها لعب الصبي بالعصفور بالنسبة إلى لذات الملوك فحينئذ حال صاحبها الإنسان الذي يكد ويتعب في الدنيا في سبيل تحصيل مراتب ومنازل الآخرة وكنت أرى أن قد تناهى بي الهوى إلى غاية ما بعدها لي مذهبي فلما تلاقينا وعاينت حسنها فأيقنت أني إنما كنت ألعب. He's saying that sometimes you go through too many struggles and you really think that you're going through very difficult times. But then when you pass that stage, the stage of struggle will lead you to the next stage. Once you are in that stage, you start reflecting and you start looking back and you realize that stage where you struggled was so sweet. Was so sweet. Why? Because it led you to this stage you're in. So maybe sometimes you are in a condition where you think or you feel miserable. Just it might be a hardship, a difficulty, calamity, whatever it is. Then a few weeks later you look back and you said, Alhamdulillah, I had to go through that. Because look what fruit it had produced. And this happened to all of us. I don't think, without any exception, except the kids here, that such thing happened to all of us. At one point of their life, or sometimes وَعَسَى أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ. Going back to the Quran and what Allah said, you find this. Allah says, you might hate something, but it's good for you. You might hate something, but it's good for you. One of the people, we heard their stories. They're saying their stories. One of them was outgoing, and when we say outgoing, that means he was committing what Allah forbids. into drugs and alcohol and women and all that in a ways that Allah forbids. Then he gets into a car accident and get paralyzed. Now he can't walk, he can't go out anymore. So when they interviewed him, he was Allah, and he said, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala paralyzed me so I can connect with him. How many people can think like that? And the other said, Allah paralyzed me when he saw that I was not making my best effort to memorize his book. So he make me in bed, so I finished memorizing his book. And then Allah healed him. But he did finish memorizing it. So sometimes you go through hardships, but because you're limited thinking, you're thinking of the moment, of the heat of the moment. You don't think how great it's going to be in the future and the results it's going to bring, because Allah knows better than any one of us. So it's like he gives line of poetry. He said, he's giving example of falling in love with a woman, or anything, and I thought she is the ultimate. There is nothing beyond it. If I can get this thing, I'm the happiest guy. If I can marry this woman, I'm the happiest guy. If I can get this thing and earn it, I'm the happiest guy. Okay? Then later on, he couldn't get it, but later on when he found something else that is better than it, he realized that he was just being fooled before. Or he was being a fool. So sometimes like that. A business opportunity comes in your way, or some way to make money, and Allah wills that you don't go through with it. So you start after maybe a few days regret, if I would have gone with it, I would have made X amount of, for example, But then 2 weeks later, a better opportunity comes where you can make much more money. So then you say, thank God, You say, thank God I did not get involved with that project. Because if you got involved there, you won't be able to get involved. So you say, thank God. So now, the fact that few days was you were feeling guilty that you did not do it, now you're thanking God for it. So now you're enjoying it. So the same thing. So the bottom line is, knowledge is very important. And knowledge is what connects you with Allah. And knowledge is your key to paradise. And knowledge, what will bring you and build your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Seeking such knowledge takes a lot of effort. And wants people who are really willing to learn. And who wants people who are really willing to make the effort. Not to put it and say, if I have extra few minutes, then I'll come to the masjid to learn something. If I have extra few minutes, I will pick up a book to read. If I have extra few minutes, I will do this and that. When it comes to Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants the best from you. Allah gave you the best, and He wants the best. Allah gave you your health, and He wants the best and the best effort. That is, so you make Allah your priority. You make the religion of Allah your priority. You make your faith your priority. You make in seeking knowledge your priority. And everything goes around. Everything is adjustable. Okay? Everything is manageable. But if you're going to get stuck in the world things and in the material things and in the extra things and neglect your priorities, then you're definitely in a red line, and you need to reconsider. So we stop here, inshallah, and we will continue next time. Brother, will the woman who died.
Assalamu alaikum, guys. I need you to be aware of this announcement. I'll tell you about Cuban trip, inshallah. This announcement was, you want to move, you better sit and listen to rental. You didn't go to anyone in public. You went to the White House, one, but before the White House, you went to the US DOJ. Her name is Dawn. Then finished that, he went to the White House. After the White House, he went to the Secretary, Janet. But I shocked that they was Janet, because you work with them, you know that. Right? The fourth one, they got charity up the road. That's like the computer the runs up the road is on the board. So the four people, they know who I am. Because I sent it from my email. So if you know what's good for you, don't communicate with me what you're doing, because you are implicated. Right? This is what the announcement went. I'll tell you .com Muslim trip, Cuban trip, inshallah. Muslims, Muslim, nationals, I'm not good in Spanish. Nuestro Adoradas, Hermanos y Hermanas, our beloved brothers and sisters in Havana, Cuba, inshallah. Departing May 1st to May 2nd, inshallah. How do I pay? Easy. Since it's tax season, you can use this for the trip. Majority of us receive the tax returns. When you get it, make the intention